Here I am. Okay, I think I'm live both places. Alrighty, so welcome. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Lady O. I'm excited to be here. I missed last week because I had a huge t-shirt order that I needed to get out, so I couldn't get on last Tuesday, but I am here today, so that's all that matters. I'm not going to keep you long because if you saw my Instagram post or my Facebook post, I have a vendor event that I am setting up for tomorrow, and I'm the keynote speaker. So I'm super excited about that. So I have a lot to do now. To get myself prepared for tomorrow. I've done all of the t-shirts. Now I have to do the mugs. I have to get the journals together, blah, 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 blah. So I have a lot to do, not to mention I need to get myself looking like somebody. So welcome to Tuesday Talks. I am Olivia B. Shepherd, your transformation and business coach. For those of you all who are just tuning in for the first time, thank you. And to all of my regular listeners and viewers, thank you for coming back. So today's topic is 3 tips to overcoming self-doubt. Now, I got this topic, and most of you all who've heard me go live before know that I usually get topics just like from the universe. Like, I don't actually set a topic that I want to talk about every week. Like, I don't plan it. I just go with the flow. And I got this particular topic about overcoming self-doubt. And if you saw my feed for the last in my Facebook group or on my Instagram, it was all about self-doubt. My affirmations were about self-doubt. My posts were about self-doubt. And it got me to thinking because me and my girlfriend had a phone call the other day. We both are crafters. She has a t-shirt business as well, and she's really, really good at it. She's a lot better than I am, and a little bit more advanced than me. But we are both in these Facebook groups for different crafters, and we love seeing all of the beautiful things that these other women create. And we were talking, and she said, I was like, yeah, I love seeing some of these women do the things. I was like, I just don't have the time or the patience. And she mentioned that she just didn't have the confidence. And, she was like, I doubt myself. And that got me to thinking that a lot of women come to me because with business ideas, with things that they want to do, but they have no confidence because they have so much self-doubt. They don't believe in their talents. They don't believe in their gifts. They don't believe in their business ideas. They don't believe that they can write the book. They don't believe that they can start a podcast. They don't believe that they can go speak and be a keynote speaker. They don't believe any of these things. We all have those self-doubts. And I know for a fact, I was one of the ones who suffered from this, not because because of the mental health issues, but I suffered from self-doubt for years. I mean, for a long time. I can even go back to my childhood. I always suffered from self-doubt because so many people were they were in my ear. They told me how I was never going to amount to anything. They explained to me that nobody wanted to hear from me. And I literally took that a long way. I mean, throughout my teenage years and into my adult years, I didn't want to start a podcast because I didn't like the way I sound on the phone. So I was like, nobody's going to listen to my podcast because it always sounds like my nose is stopped up. And I promise you, it is not. Okay. But I do sound like that. And so that gave me, that put a lot of pressure on me to start the podcast because I can talk for days. And I love talking. I'm a walking book. But I didn't want to go and do the podcast because I was like, nah, my voice sounds horrible. Nobody wants to listen to me. Listening to the naysayers, just listening to all the people who put me down in my past. But you know what? I was like, I don't care what they say anymore. I didn't care. And so I started the podcast. Now I'm in my season 2. I think I've done like, maybe 40 or 50 episodes on my podcast. So I didn't care anymore. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go with it. I like talking all the time. I like being my own boss, and I like nobody telling me what to do. So I'm not going to let, this podcast opportunity get away from me. So when we were talking about that, and like I said, we both are very talented. We're both very creative, but we at that point kind of like let the negative voices in our head say, you all can't do this. And that's a lie, because I didn't know how to do t-shirts. I celebrated my t-shirt anniversary, which is my 1-year anniversary of my t-shirt business, on Saturday or Sunday. I didn't know how to use this machine. I didn't know how to do t-shirts. I messed up, I know, about 30 or 40 times, but it didn't stop me from running the store. And it did not stop me from launching that business. So when I talk to people, that is the number one reason why people don't start businesses, why they don't write the book, why they don't put out blog posts or get a blog post. They don't do those things because they are too busy listening to the doubters. I started my blog 5 years ago. I didn't know how to write. I'm not a writer. I tell a story all the time. I write like I talk. Well, I used to, until I learned. But I write like I talk. I used to write like I talk. And when I was doing my blog posts, I was so unorganized until someone came to me and said, hey, sis, you need to go back and check your grammar. You need to go do these things. And you know what? I perfected my blog. Now it's a really great blog. I get really good traffic from it, but I did it. I didn't let the fact that I didn't know how, because I didn't graduate from high school like most of everybody else. I didn't get my degrees until late in life. Like when I think I posted that I got my first degree when I was 39. So it wasn't like I had, major confidence in writing. I can talk to you about anything, but I couldn't write it on paper. I always wrote like I was writing in my journal. And someone came to me and said, that's not how you do it. I got the help that I needed, and I perfected my blog. So that's what I want you all to do. You have to overcome self-doubt, because what happens is you are missing out on tons of opportunities. Okay, if I had doubted myself continuously, I wouldn't be able to speak to you all live here. I have plenty of people that come to me that will not go live because they are so afraid that only one person is going to show up or nobody is going to show up. I particularly don't care who shows up. I just put what I'm going to put out here, and I keep on going. I don't think twice about things anymore. I used to, but then when I found out and I tell this all the time, I would sit back and doubt what I was going to do. So there was a course that I wanted to put out, and it was one and this was years ago, and this was years ago, and the course was about sex and depression. And I was like, oh, this is too taboo. I don't want to put this out. I don't want, anybody. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But then one day I got up and I saw that same course by somebody else. See, I let self-doubt take over my brain. I let the overthinking take over. And guess what? Somebody else beat me to the punch. Okay? Somebody else beat me to the punch at putting that course out. Okay. And so if you sit and you waddle in your self-doubt and in your overthinking, you're missing out on tons of opportunities that you can be doing right now with your businesses. If you don't go live much, you need to go live. Stop worrying about what your background looks like. Stop worrying about, you don't have the right equipment to go live. You can go live from your phone. Okay, now I have all of the equipment. I have the computer here, I have the iPad, I have the phone, I have all those things, but you don't have to have all that stuff. If you are wanting to write your story, you want to self-publish your book or get your book published, get to writing, get it over there to somebody and let somebody see it and go with the flow. Okay, you all are missing out on tons of opportunities because you have let self-doubt cloud your judgment. Okay, and I know a lot of that stems from from our childhoods. For those of us who have had traumatic childhoods, yes, self-doubt does creep in even in your older age, and it will keep you from, even if you're working in a cubicle next to somebody, and you know that you deserve that promotion, but you haven't spoke out because you don't doubt that you will make a good supervisor. Here you go, missing out on all of your opportunities while the girl next to you is getting, who you know ain't doing no work, who probably comes in late, is not productive, but she's now taking the job of manager because you didn't think you were good enough for that position, because you let self-doubt keep you from all the opportunities that you could be experiencing right now. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you 3 tips. So I told you this was going to go fast because I got to get back to doing, getting myself ready for my event, which I am super nervous. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm very nervous. This is the first time that I've ever put out my actual products. And this is not my first time speaking in front of anybody. I usually do some speaking behind the scenes, but this is the first social event where I won't know the audience. Okay. Usually I kind of know my audience. So when I'm speaking or if I'm on a podcast, I pretty much know everything or something about the people. I'm not going to know these people tomorrow. I haven't even met the people that invited me to speak. I'm going to be doing this and I haven't even written a speech yet. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. Okay, I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm just going to pray about it and I'm going to go with the flow. Now, I'm going to be setting up my first vendor booth. I've never done this before with my t-shirts, my mugs, my journals. I'm going to be setting this up tomorrow. I don't know anything about being a vendor. I don't know anything about setting up my table. But guess what? I have all of the things up together. I don't know if my table is going to look like somebody else's table. I don't even know if my table is going to be up to par. But I'm going to actually do it. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let self-doubt creep in that I missed my coins. Okay? That's another thing. Y'all are missing out on y'all money when y'all let self-doubt and fear creep in. So tomorrow I'm going to go up in there. I'm going to be dressed and looking cute. I am going to have my friend with me. He is going to help me set up my station, my table, and we are going to just roll with it. Okay, whether I sell 5 t-shirts or don't sell anything at all, at least I did it, I conquered it, and I will perfect it the next time. Okay, I will learn from whatever mistakes tomorrow if I make any. And that's what you have to overcome, the mistakes you might make. Well, the mistakes are your lessons. Okay, so if I go tomorrow and I don't have my table set up, well, I can see all of the other women's tables. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to see what they're doing, how they're getting their sales. I am going to learn tomorrow what I need to do for the next time if this doesn't work out for me. But I'm not going to get discouraged. I am not going to let that pop into my head tomorrow that I might not have this right. Okay, so let's do the 3 tips that help me overcome self-doubt. Okay, number 1, stop caring about what other people think. A lot of times we don't start anything because we're too busy worrying about who is going to say what, or what if somebody doesn't, or somebody in my family might. I don't care about that, and neither should you. If you have something that you want to do, you need to go do it. You know, I remember when I decided that I wanted to become a coach. And of course, I had naysayers. You know, people were like, well, who are you to tell people? And I can tell you. Okay. I didn't let, the self-doubt, the haters tell me what I couldn't do. Okay. And so I became a certified transformation coach. I did it. But I keep thinking about what if I had just not did any of the things that people laughed at me about. When I started my business, my first business 20 years ago, my family was like, no, this is not what we do. We work in plants all our lives. So this was 20 years ago. There was nobody starting a business, at 24 years old back in the day. There just wasn't. I was 24 years old. I was still, hanging out in the streets. I was still ripping and running, being a hot mess. None of my friends were starting businesses. Nobody was talking about starting a business. I didn't even hang with people who even had this type of sense, but I did it. But when they told me that I should be doing this, what about your pensions and blah, 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 I knew it in my heart that I wanted to be a boss. I've always been bossy. I wanted to be the boss of something of my own. And so you cannot let people get in your head. Okay, I have a podcast that says don't give your doubters ammunition. Because if you don't do what you are dreaming of, You are giving them the ammunition they need to continue to say, you are never going to amount to anything. I told you couldn't do it. That's a stupid idea. Girl, please, ain't nobody out here doing that. That's what they do. So when you sit around on your book, when you sit around on a journal, when you sit around on a podcast idea, when you sit around on your talents, you are giving your doubters ammunition to go ahead and shoot and fire things at you. So don't listen to what other people say. Okay, I had people who told me, I had leaders tell me that I wasn't able to grace their stages. Church leaders, people who are not supposed to even judge me. They judge me and didn't think that I, this woman who could tell my story, could not get up in front of their church and speak to them, because they're so holy and then thou. Everybody in that church came from baggage. But nobody wanted to hear from me because I don't know if it's because you know what I like to say? No, they didn't want to hear from me because they saw in me what God sees in me. So when people tell you that you can't do something, it's because they're intimidated by your talents. So do not let the people in your head. Get those people out of your head. Go do what you got to do. Go start your business. Go start your podcast. Go write your book. Don't worry about what other people think. Number 2, stop comparing yourself to people. You are not like everybody else. You are unique. You are uniquely made. You will not be able to do things like everybody else. Y'all already heard the story about we've seen the meme going around about the bread company and that it's like 45,000, different bread, varieties of bread. Well, guess what? That goes the same thing for my cleaning business. That's the same thing for the t-shirt business. That's the same thing for coaching businesses. That's the same thing for podcasts. I do things different. I had 2 coaches. I don't coach like my 2 coaches do. I don't do the things they do. I do things my way. I do things that are best for my business and best for me. Okay? I don't sell my t-shirts like everybody else sell their t-shirts. I didn't run my cleaning business. Now, 20 years ago, I wasn't competing with the businesses that I'm competing with now. I used to have to compete with companies. Okay? Mary Mays, Molly Mays, all those franchise companies. But I did not compare my business to those. Yes, I had a little small business, but you know what? When I would talk, you would think I had 45 people working underneath me. I didn't care because my business was my business. It was my business to run how I wanted to. I didn't compare myself to other people. I do not do that now. My coaching style is different. My prices are different. I am not like everybody else. I am not like my coaches. I had 2 different coaches, and both of them had 2 different coaching styles. Okay? Stop comparing yourself to other people because you will never, ever get nothing done. If you are waiting and sitting around on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok looking at how other people do stuff, you're never going to get started and you're never going to live out your dreams. 3, just do it. Just freaking do it. Tomorrow, I didn't have no time to prep. I had time to prep, but I just got this on Thursday of last week about being the keynote speaker. Now, I could have said, hold on, no, let me back up. I got this on Tuesday of last week, but I had till Friday to make up my mind, okay? But what if I had just sat on it? What if I had just sat on it and come up with all the different reasons why I could not be the speaker? Then she said, well, I checked your websites. You do t-shirts. Do you want to bring your t-shirts? Do you want to, set up a booth? I could have said, no, I just want to speak. I don't want to do anything else. I could have said that, but I didn't. I never set up a vendor booth before. I have never done this, but it did not stop me from telling her yes. And now I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get t-shirts done. And now, trying to get the mugs done, making sure things are going to be set up. But what if I had just sat back and not do it? Okay? Just freaking do it already. You can perfect it along the way. You can perfect it tomorrow. When I get there and I get that booth set up, if nothing works out, that's a lesson for me. That's the lesson. I no longer see my failures as just that. Tomorrow, when I get there, I am going to set up my booth. I am going to speak. My friend is going to be recording me. And what I'll do is go back and look at the recording. Maybe I might have misspoke. Maybe I might say something wrong, a word wrong. But it's not going to stop me from doing it. Tomorrow, I will go to the vendor event. I will speak. I will have my stuff out there. And if it does not work out, then I will come back and perfect it later. See, some of y'all are out here so busy worrying about what other people say. Then you're so busy comparing what you're doing to somebody else. So now you can't set up a website because your website doesn't look like somebody else's, or because you think you have to have everything together. You don't. You don't have to have everything already in order before you go out and do something. I tell a story all the time. I had a 95 Ford Taurus, I think, that had bad transmission. I had mops, and I had my bucket, and I had cleaning supplies. I didn't know a damn thing about the cleaning. Well, I knew about cleaning, but I didn't know about the cleaning business. I didn't know a damn thing about paperwork and taxes. I didn't know anything about that stuff when I started my business. I didn't know anything about advertisement. And remember, this was 20 years ago, so there was no social media. This was straight up phone book, okay? I didn't know how to get clients, but it did not stop me from just doing it. I didn't listen to anybody else. I didn't let people sit in my mind and sit on, all of the different things that people tell us. Because I'm going to tell you something. When people who are afraid to live their dreams, they will talk you out of yours. They will do it. And then now you'll be sitting around with them 10 years from now doing the same stuff that you were doing with these people 10 years ago because they talked you out of your dreams. I didn't know anything about the cleaning business. I didn't know how any of that worked. I didn't know anything about government contracts. I didn't know anything about general liability insurance. I didn't know anything about workers' comp. I did not know anything, but I did it. I just did it. And it did not stop me. And 20 years later, I can sit up here and tell you that it was successful because it lasted 20 years. Same thing about my t-shirt business. I don't know anything about t-shirts. I didn't know anything about that stuff. Same thing about the coaching business. I didn't know anything about branding. I didn't know anything about having click funnels and all. I still don't know anything about that stuff. Like I'm just okay. Like some of those things I just don't care to go get into, and you don't have to, because I run my coaching business different from my coaches. I run it different from every coach that is on my timeline. I run my business differently from everybody else, which makes me unique because it's me. I don't allow what others are doing to get in the way of what I'm doing. And this is what you all have to, because that's when all of the self-doubt comes in. Well, my table doesn't look as good as hers. Well, she has the machine on her table, or my background isn't right, so I can't go live, or I don't have the perfect website. All of these things are self-doubt. All of these things are keeping you from experiencing all of the great opportunities that you all can be having. And that's why when me and my client, my girlfriend was talking about this, like I said, a bell went off on my head. Like, we got to stop doing that. Because I promise you, if me and her literally tried, we can do the exact same things that we see all of these wonderful ladies, crafters doing. We just didn't put our minds to it. And that's the same thing with you all. Yes, there are lots of coaches out here. There are 10 million authors, probably 30 million. I mean, there are authors all over the world. There are people that create journals all over the world. It did not stop me from creating my journal, which is on Amazon, by the way, and y'all need to be picking that up. Anyway, but it didn't stop me. Matter of fact, I'm on my second journal to be released by the end of this month. It didn't stop me. It did not stop me. I didn't let the doubts creep into my mind. And for those of us who suffer from mental health issues, yes, we literally have self-doubt in our minds all the time. I mean, we doubt everything. And that's not an excuse, but that's just the way our brains work. But we have to fight that. We have to conquer our dreams. We have to go after our goals. And my goal was to always work for myself. And once I had got out the hospital 4 or 5 years ago, I vowed to myself that I would never let another woman suffer what I had to go through alone. What if I didn't come up here and speak? What if I didn't go live? What if I did not put my post out? What if I don't go speak tomorrow? Tomorrow, I might speak to someone that might change her entire life by the words I say tomorrow. What if I decided that I was not going to do that, and this young woman never gets to hear me? Then I don't get to save her. And you need to think about that. Your posts don't have to be just like my posts. I'm creative. I love, posting and making up my Canva stuff. I love all of that, and I can come up with those things quickly off the top of my head. I don't have a set schedule. Whatever I think about, I put it out there. And when me and my girlfriend was talking about self-doubt, I knew that I wanted to talk about self-doubt. But what if I was afraid to put out my posts? What if I didn't? Because I have people come to me all the time and say, I needed to see that today. I enjoyed your live today. What if I didn't do it because I let self-doubt take over me? What if I did not come out? I asked God to help me be able to save at least one woman while I was sitting in that hospital. One woman. I wrote it in my journal. I wanted to be able to save women from going through the same things that I went through alone. But what if I let self-doubt and fear take over? I wouldn't be here today. And you all have to think about that. Think about who your target audience is. Think about why you want to put your book out. If you are a drug addict and you overcame being a drug addict, then you need to write that story, because somebody is waiting for you to tell them that you used to be a drug addict too. I think when people sit around and, when they say, well, I don't have the correct education, or I don't have all of these degrees. You don't need degrees in this world late now. I mean, I got 2 of the degrees that I'm sitting on that I don't even use now. No, I graduated a year behind my class. A year behind my class. That doesn't make or break me. So if you didn't even finish school, so what? If you got a GED, so what? Tell your story. You will encourage somebody. You will encourage somebody. But if you let self-doubt and fear get in the way of that, then you're hurting yourself, and you're hurting that young lady that's waiting on you, or young man that's waiting on you. So y'all need to get up today. Listen to this, go back to this replay. Replay it tons of times. And say, Lady Yo said, just do it. Because you got to think about the people you can save with your story. Think about the young lady that wants to make t-shirts. Think about the children that are coming up now, all of these teen girls that don't have things. Some of our children are so fortunate, but there are tons of girls out here that are not fortunate, and young men. What about your story? What about the young man that is walking down the street right now who has amazing talent to draw? But because you didn't tell your story, because you let self-doubt creep in, you can't save that young man. So listen to this video, take it and save it, and replay it all the time. Every time you get discouraged and self-doubt creeps in, you say, no, Lady O said, no, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. because you matter to people that you don't even know that you matter to. See, we're so busy waiting on the people that love us or are supposed to love us to give us a clap of the hands and approval. But sometimes it's going to be those strangers out there. I am a living witness to the fact that I have had so many strangers come to me and tell me how my message saved them. Think about that. Think about if I had not ever sat on this live or did a podcast. What if I had listened to the people that told me nobody wanted to hear from me? What if I had done that? That there would be no Lady O. There would be no Tuesday Talks. There would be no podcast. If I had listened to the people that told me I wasn't going to amount to anything and that nobody wanted to hear from me. Your family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, those might not be the people that are going to root for you. That shouldn't stop you from going after your dreams. So recap. Number one, going back to the top. Oh my God, excuse me. And I just lost my eyesight that quick. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. Just their opinions don't matter. Their opinions don't matter. The only opinion that matters is yours. If you like it, I love it. It doesn't matter. You know, my husband still doesn't know what I do. My son doesn't understand what I do. It doesn't stop me from doing it. Okay? They don't understand what I'm doing. You know, all they know, my son will call me and say, are you doing, matter of fact, I always text him before I go live because he always calls me in the middle of me doing a live or me recording a podcast. And he's like, well, girl, anybody calling you? And then he'll call me, are you finished yet? And then he'll say things like, why you didn't answer the phone? Were you on TV on live or something like that? I'm like, yes, because he doesn't understand it, but it doesn't stop me from doing it. 2, stop comparing yourself to other people. You are not like everybody else. If you're not a twin or a triplet or a quadruplet, if you are not like that, then you are your unique self. Run your coaching business how you want to run it. Write your books how you want to write your books. Do your podcast how you want to do your podcast. Make your t-shirts how you want to make your t-shirts. Do it your way. Stop comparing yourself. I don't think, and I can't imagine that Nabisco and Annie or Granny's or whatever the other cookies names are all sitting around comparing their cookies. I can't imagine the bread people are doing that either. No, they're putting out bread and they're just putting it on the shelf. And when you go out there, when you see millions of cookies, you see millions of different. We have different types of bread by different types of people and companies. Don't compare yourself to other people. And last but not least, just freaking do it. Nike couldn't have come up with a better slogan. Just do it. You're sitting here letting yourself and your talents waste away because you're afraid of what people think. Or comparing yourself to others. I don't have money like other people. I have to get it right. You don't know what people have. All you see is the social media of these people. A lot of them, unlike myself, don't share their behind the scenes. I do. I'm very transparent. So I show you the struggles. I get on here looking like this. I'm not always some bad beauty queen all the time. You know? Now catch me tomorrow when I do this event. I'm gonna be all cute, so I am gonna put some pictures tomorrow, okay? So catch me tomorrow. But as of today, this is how this sister looks. It doesn't make my message any weak because I have a hat on and I don't have on makeup and I don't have all the proper filters. No, I want you to see all of me. I have a birthmark on my face that for years people would say, well, I didn't know you had that birthmark there. Did you just get that? You know why? Because people don't see it because I don't bring attention to it. It doesn't matter. I just do stuff. And I don't compare my face. I don't compare my body. I don't compare my businesses. I don't compare my coaching. I don't compare my t-shirts. I don't compare myself to other people. And you shouldn't either. So just freaking do it already. Somebody is waiting on you. Somebody is waiting for you they are waiting to discover you. Somebody is waiting. They're walking around needing to read your book. They want to see, somebody is waiting for a piece of jewelry. If you sell jewelry, somebody probably is waiting on a piece of jewelry that matches the exact dress they need. Somebody is waiting on you. And you need to get started. You need to let go of fear and self-doubt. Okay? So that's it. That is it. I am done. I am thankful for all of you all who tuned in. I can't see comments right now because, of course, I don't have on my glasses, and I am not putting on my glasses because I'm about to get ready to go do some things I need to do for my vendor event tomorrow and my speaking event. But I thank you all for tuning in to this week's Tuesday Talks. Again, I don't know what I'm going to talk about next Tuesday. Usually it comes to me over the weekend, or, y'all get the post I put up, this is what I'm going to talk about. I don't know. I kind of just roll with the flow. See how I do that? I kind of just roll with the flow. I don't plan to do it. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Next Tuesday, I don't know what I want to talk about. I do get bunches of ideas, but I don't know. So you're just going to have, this is the incentive to tune in next Tuesday to see what I'm going to talk about. This is your incentive. Like, okay, I got to catch Tuesday Talks with Lady O next Tuesday because I don't know what she's going to talk about. So that should be your incentive to come back. Okay. All right. So have a great rest of the day. Have a great rest of the week. I am going to post lots of pictures tomorrow of my events, and I may be able to upload my speech tomorrow. My friend is going to be recording me to make sure that I get that as well. So wish me luck. I am not going to let self-doubt or fear get in my way. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make my mugs. I'm going to fold my t-shirts. I'm going to make sure everything is going to be perfected when I get there. And if whatever goes wrong, I will write that down as a lesson and I will perfect that later on. All right. So have a great day. Thank you all again for tuning in. I'll see you all back here 4 o'clock with Tuesday Talks with Lady O. Bye.